Trump does not want you to know about the possibility of the Iranian war reaching U.S. soil because his poll numbers are in the crapper, and I wish I was making this up. The FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, and the National Counterterrorism Center wrote a 5-page bulletin. It warned state and local law enforcement about a heightened threat of attacks on U.S. soil, Iranian proxies, radicalized individuals, possible targets including military and government personnel, Jewish and Israeli institutions, and Iranian dissidents living here in the United States. The bulletin was ready to go, and the White House killed it. The White House killed it. It was meant to be sent to state and local law enforcement agencies to alert them of potential risks, to keep us safe. And look, this wasn't killed because of anything inaccurate in it. It wasn't blocked because it needed more research. I personally think it was blocked for a very, very different reason. According to some of the latest polls, including the NPR PBS Marist poll, 56% of Americans are against our military action in Iran. I've seen as high as 60% against it. And just 36% approve how Trump is handling any of this at all. And look, Iran is a real threat to our country and our allies. But this war has made the entire situation in our allies in the Middle East and at home much more dangerous. The intelligence community, they understood that within days of us dropping the first bombs. Iran's most likely retaliation wouldn't just be rockets at U.S. bases in the Middle East. It would be asymmetric. It would use proxies, lone actors, attacks here in the U.S. And so the FBI, the DHS, and the National Counterterrorism Center, they did their jobs. They prepared a joint public safety bulletin, 5 pages, with specific threat categories, guidance for local law enforcement on how to respond to an attack. This kind of document, it's been put out without White House involvement for decades. Because the entire point is that threat intelligence doesn't have to go through political review. It goes directly to the cops and the first responders who need it, urgently, to keep us safe. And now, according to reporting from the Daily Mail, confirmed by Reuters and multiple national security sources, the DHS broke with its own protocol and gave the White House a heads up hours before that bulletin was set to go out. Senior Trump officials, of course, placed it on hold. And the White House isn't even denying it. The White House spokeswoman Abigail Jackson saying that the administration is ensuring that all information being distributed is accurate, up to date, and has been properly vetted, even if that means taking additional time. The administration also told Reuters that the bulletin did not offer sufficient insight and, quote, was not well written. So the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, and the National Counterterrorism Center, 3 agencies whose entire reason for existing is essentially counterterrorism, wrote a document that the White House says is not well written. Right. Look, like I mentioned, there's polls all over, including the NBC poll that shows that 60% of Americans disapprove of the Iranian strikes. Polling also finds that 48% say Trump's policies are hurting our economy. Independents are disapproving of him 63 to 27. Essentially, Trump started a war that most of the country didn't want, and we're paying for it all over the place. Gas prices spiking towards $5 a gallon, and the midterms are 8 months away. So ask yourself, what's the single worst thing that could happen to Trump's political standing between now and the November midterms? An attack on American soil linked to this disastrous illegal war. If Iranian proxies carry out a strike here in the U.S. against a synagogue, military base, a government building, a dissident community, after saying that it was Trump's made-up distraction war that caused all of this, the first question that every reporter in the country should ask is, did the government know this was coming? Did anyone warn local law enforcement? Was there a bulletin? Well, there was a bulletin, and it is sitting in a White House drawer. And then reporters are going to ask about the counterintelligence officers that investigate those types of attacks. They were fired last month by Kash Patel. A senior DHS official told the Daily Mail what this was all about. Trump doesn't want information released that shows that his Iran war has created new dangers at home. That's not me giving my opinion. That is a senior official inside the Department of Homeland Security explaining in plain language why a counterterrorism bulletin got blocked. This has never been anything more than a vanity war. Trump started this illegal war to distract from all of the other terrible things that he was doing, to distract from the terrible thing he did to kids, allegedly, with his pal Epstein. And now all of us are at risk. And we might not ever know the truth until it blows up in our face, literally. Doesn't it seem like our feeds are getting filled with more and more BS right-wing MAGA content? It's no secret that all these top tech bros are in love with the current regime, so it's no surprise that independent left-leaning media is being squashed by the algorithm. If you like our content and content like us, it doesn't take long to click that thumbs up, share, comment, or subscribe. So please help us keep the truth alive.